And we are live. We are your friendly neighborhood film watchers. It is Frankly Football. I'm your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, Hunted Grand. Set it off, Chris, with me. How you doing tonight, Chris?
Hey man, I'm a little bit more awake than I was last week because I was on the road, and I'm gonna be fighting these next couple of weeks, man. Just pray for me and my family, and
Mhm.
while we're in this process, and going to and fro, man. So I appreciate everybody that kicked it with us last week as we
Yes,
talked
sir.
about the tackles we liked and things of that nature. But my favorite time of the year, one of my favorite TV shows, is
Mm,
watching fat dudes run 40s and
mm.
guys do simple drills that I can't even think about doing anymore. The NFL Combine hit us this week, man, and we're gonna get with you real quick, man. If you get in on us on the live, that's great. But if not, keep on the lookout for our next video we're gonna drop about our winners and losers that we're doing on the Combine, and B exciting times. But if
Yes,
you're not
sir.
a film watcher, you would get taken away by some of these guys that you saw at the combine this week.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For those of y'all that don't regularly watch these guys or as soon as the season ends, take in the film about these guys. This may be your first or second exposure to them, and you may be taken aback. You may be like, whoa, why does that 300-pound guy move like a gazelle, you know
Right, right. That's true.
so there are some guys, I have about maybe 9 or 10 who were big
Hmm.
winners, who may have earned themselves a bit of extra scratch, a little bit more cheddar cheese,
A
if
little
you
bit
will.
more coin. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? A little bit more guap, as back in the day. You say a little guap. You know what I'm saying, in their
yes,
pockets, man.
sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. By their performances in the combine,
Right.
and we're just here to talk about a few of the biggest winners and some of the guys who didn't necessarily help themselves over the past few days going into last weekend.
Absolutely. So who's your first big winner?
The big winner. Let's talk about Blake Freeland, one of the aforementioned big men, you know,
Okay.
the
Okay.
dancing bears, if you will. I
Okay.
think that Blake showed that he can flow like water and also
Hmm.
crash like a wave in all of his drills.
Okay.
I think that
Okay.
he was smooth,
Hmm.
powerful, and quick in all of his movements at the same time.
Okay.
I think that his 4.940 was very much better than expected. But here's the thing: his 10-yard split was the best of all of the O linemen.
Okay.
Regardless of their position,
Right. Okay.
and that's what you want to see in the O lineman, because they aren't going to be the guys that are moving 30 and 40 yards down the field. They
Okay.
they need to move from here to the other side of the room very quickly, because they
Right.
need to be able to protect guys. So that 10
Right.
yard split is particularly important for them, because they need to have not necessarily fastness but quickness.
Right. They have to be able to move assertively and with purpose, going in the direction they want to go. Here's the only thing I didn't and I understand he had a great, he was 37-inch vertical.
Hmm.
His three clone split was a 7.46. Great. Here's my
Yes.
problem with my offensive lineman. I want to see how much weight they can throw around,
Yes.
because 45 to 50 times a game they are going to be bouncing a 225-pound plus man against them, and I need to see what they do in the test. He didn't bench press here, so I
Yeah.
think that's going to be one of the tests he's going to have to do. That may be the only test he would need to do in his pro day going
Yeah.
forward. If he can show me he can bench press 225, 20 to 25 times, I'm looking at him helping push up the board. Blake Freeland gets pushed up the board a little bit, which pushes my guy down the board a little bit more, so I can probably go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Uh-huh.
I see. You
Uh-huh.
play
Oh
you
yeah, yeah,
playing
yeah,
chess,
yeah.
not
Oh
checkers
yeah.
here. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You see, so for us, for people who haven't kicked it with us before, me and Brandon wasn't as bold as I was. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out. My guy I wanted a couple years back was Rashawn Slater. I have record and documentation, and you can find it on Twitter. I was like Rashawn Slater or nobody.
Okay.
So to my chagrin, on draft night when he was sitting there available for us to take it, and we could have had the left tackle of the future, and we'd have been running behind that guy. We end up taking one's new favorite guy, Micah Parsons.
Boom.
But I wasn't super happy about taking Micah Parsons at that time. I didn't understand who he was and what he could do. But I'm always about, and this is where me and Brandon maybe differ on our philosophy. My draft philosophy is make the O-line elite again.
You build your house from the foundation up.
You got to have a solid rock bottom foundation. And because we're changing scheme, I like the fact that I'm looking at offensive linemen to do their thing. So that was one of your guys.
Yes.
Going back to that, kind of staying on the train of what we've done defensively, because we can honestly say that this team is head and shoulders better than this football team was in 2020.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 2020, the Dallas Cowboys were historically bad. So we've had the last couple years where we've really trended towards defense. So my biggest winner, man, for me was a guy, man, that kind of jumped out on us because of where he played at, and that's Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith was a huge winner for us because for the rest of us, we knew Jalen Carter was amazing, but we didn't have an idea that Nolan Smith was that fast and that explosive. And so, me with my mind thinking, hey, what if I had a Nolan Smith along a Sam Williams, along with a Micah Parsons, along with progressively staying healthy DeMarcus Lawrence? Man, what kind of chaos could I envision for Dan Quinn with that? And Nolan Smith was just an absolute, he came out there and just put the whole world on notice of what he could do at the combine. Just looking at his numbers again, he turned around, ran a 4.39 40, big 6'2", 239, 238. So you're looking at putting maybe another 10, 15 pounds on him. So you're looking at 248, 255 as a defensive end. That 10-yard split of 1.52. That's just nasty,
insane,
bro. That's just nasty, man. And so you just, and with him, you didn't see him do his bench press. But here's the one thing he's big, he's fast, he's explosive, and when he goes and does his pro day, probably in Georgia, probably the only thing he may do is the bench press. He ain't got to run no more. He ain't got to do none of that. He ain't got to do that. So Nolan Smith was one of my big winners. Give me another winner for you, Brent. Tell me what you think about Nolan, bro.
Absolutely. That's who I wanted to comment on. Now here's the thing about Nolan. People would think that he's one of those like modern, undersized edge rushers, because he's only like 230 pounds, give or take.
He's 238. He weighed in at 238.
238, yeah. and he's what, 6'3".
6'2", 238.
Yeah, we knew that he was gonna test well. We knew that he was gonna jump high and run fast, but he shattered all expectations, and he had the nerve, the gall, the gumption to be disappointed.
Yeah, that was true. For him to be mad that he didn't run as fast as a wide receiver or a running back is really amazing, and that just kind of leads into his competitiveness and his fire to want to be explosive. But I like that. I like that about him. But I also like the fact that it mattered because of the way he played in college. He doesn't have a lot of wear and tear because they rotate those guys so much. Yeah. So I can bring him in and mix him into the roux of my gumbo and my defense, and he can just learn how to do certain things. Like maybe his first year, he may not be ultra run stopper, but he sure as heck can be super pass rusher.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So for any team that needs him, they're gonna get a guy that can wreck a defense on athletic ability alone.
Yes. Yes.
Whatever team that may be.
Absolutely.
And you just have to trust and believe in his raw instincts.
No doubt. That's it.
my next guy that I like
Mm-hmm.
was, and I'm just going down my list. I just so happened to line a lot of these guys up based on position. Another offensive lineman. This is a guy that I've called a chameleon, many a time. Not just because
Okay.
of his uniform color, things like that.
Oh,
This was Cody Mark.
that's your dude.
Yeah,
Hey,
love Cody Mark.
family. Hey, family. This is not just the chameleon. This is Brandon's pet cat. This
Yeah.
is the guy that he is. He's got one more guy. The other guy he's gonna tell us a little bit later because he's on a revenge tour. But Cody Mark is Brandon's guy. Go ahead and talk more about Cody Mark, man.
So the thing about Cody Mark is he already had high value. All five positions, right? That has value in itself. But he then showed that he can be spectacular in all of his movements. His 3-cone drill was spectacular and showed great adjustment in all of his movements. Showed that he can be versatile. His 10-yard split was amazing, even though his 40 was, middling. That goes and shows that, you need an O-lineman who can get somewhere quickly, even though they may not be able to cover the large distance in, a spectacular amount of time.
Okay.
His shuffle was once again good. Let me go through. He also bench press, decent. He got 29. I would have liked him to crack 30. That would have instantly put him in, I believe, the top 5 if he would have got one more. But 29 there were a large group of O-linemen who had 29 reps. I could be satisfied with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Cody Mark is a guy who can move all across the O-line, even though I think that once he does land in the pros, he's probably going to land at guard somewhere.
Okay. I think you did talk about okay. Well, I think he like I said, because of his position flex, a Jason Garrett favorite word, he can go up and down the line. So absolutely. I like the fact he can do that. Being that I want to move Tyler Smith into the guard position to maximize the offensive line, I like him. But if I'm not going to do that, I'm just trying to find the best guard I can find on the board. Some people like the young man out of Georgia. I kind of like the young man out of South Carolina, Javon Gwynn. Okay. I like him. Okay, I'm gonna just be totally honest. I'm always gonna be biased for certain things. Okay, he's from Charlotte.
Okay, talk about it.
He's from Charlotte. So he's from Charlotte. 6'2", 297. Athleticism. He had a 5'1", 40. I don't need him to be ultra fast as a guard. What I need him to be is super duper productive inside in that area. 34 reps in the on his bench press.
Okay.
His 20-yard shuffle leaves room to be desired is at a 4.8. Mm-hmm. But I like him. I think he makes strides in areas, with his score and his athleticism. So, he may not have been top as in certain things, but he's right in that middle level where I have to get a better guy than Connor McGovern. Okay. And I think I can get him in the later, maybe 3rd or 4th rounds. And because he's already got play strength and he's strong, I think the other things I can work with and get him better.
Now the thing about offensive linemen, when there's a run on them, there's a run. And once they're gone, they're gone. Do you think he would be a rotational guy or a starter in the league? Because the answer to that question determines where he would go.
I think he has all the potential in the world to be that. He didn't have a lot of comps. The problem with him being a guard is he's undersized and he's got short arms. Okay. But I don't need you to have super duper long arms if we fighting in the phone booth. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with that. I like his size. I like his play strength. He's already at 297. And he can be a guy that can be a brawler in the box. So that's why I'm a Jovan Gwyn lover, man. I think he had a good day, had a good weekend.
Okay. The next guy that I want to talk about, guy that I'm not even slowly, I've quickly become an Andrei Iosivas fan.
Okay.
Ever since the Senior Bowl, Chris, I think that he may have been the hardest working receiver. Right? He's probably practiced and drilled his way to becoming a day 2 pick.
Well, I'll give you that, but keep going while you think more about him in that way.
His Senior Bowl and combine performances, along with his film and size, should likely be enough to capture the attention of all 32 teams. His 40 was way better than expected. He ran a 4.43 and with a 1.52 split.
Yeah.
And his gauntlet showed the ability to catch with his hands, which is going to be something that teams want to see with someone of his size. He's 6'2", I believe. And one thing that's very important, while he didn't necessarily turn the corner at the end, he had the wherewithal to be able to show that tiptoe ability on the sideline. That's going to be something that teams like, especially someone as large as him. You don't expect someone to be graceful, right? You expect them to be large and bumbling and have that tuba sound playing, when they walk.
Okay.
So he showed the toe tap ability, when he got that final ball in his gauntlet. So here's one thing, Chris. Here's one thing. I think that, and allow me to kind of expand on this a little bit, right? I think that Andrei Iosivas might be better than Rashee Rice right now as a prospect.
Okay. So you like him better than Rice right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Right now. Here's why.
Okay.
Andrei Iosivas has come in exactly as advertised height-wise. Rashee Rice, meanwhile, has come in 2 inches shorter.
Okay.
Both at the Senior Bowl and at the Combine. So we know that 6-foot height is true. Right? Andrei Iosivas has come in and worked his way up from being likely a 5th round pick. And like I said, he's probably a mid to low 3rd round pick at this point. Rashee Rice.
Okay.
What DBs are in the AAC for real? We use that argument to talk about Tank Dell. What DBs are in the AAC for real? We have to be fair and say the same thing about Rashee Rice. Okay.
I'm gonna let you finish. All
right.
Okay.
Andrei Iosivas. The only knock about him, and we can go back and fact check this on our receiver episode. He's a big guy, and our main knock about him is, can he block? I don't necessarily need my receivers to block, Chris.
Okay.
I don't necessarily need my skill position guys to block. That's just a maraschino cherry on the milkshake, Chris.
Okay. I mean, I understand. You're not a whipped cream cherry guy at certain establishments that serves delicious chicken sandwiches and basically say to you, it's my pleasure to do it. I understand that.
No.
Here's my problem with Drake. His level of competition at Princeton leaves him as kind of like, for me, this is for me, not for anyone else.
Yeah.
He is Simi Fehoko of the draft to me. He's big, he's explosive, he's fast, and I don't know what he can do.
He had a lawyer throwing him the ball. He had a nuclear physicist throwing him the ball, Chris.
I don't think a nuclear physicist, but he probably did have a lawyer or CPA throwing the ball. So my problem is, because I knew that's what he had throwing the football, him in the 3rd round is a little rich for me. I understand. He's big, he's fast, he's better than his times are better than Rice. his production though. Rice's production.
Times Rashee Rice came in and ran a 4.5.
Yeah, that really hurt him. That really hurt him. Those are the times like when you run your 40, it can really come back and it can really hurt you long term because his tape alone was amazing. But for him to go out there and run a 4.51 really hurt him. His split is a 1.49, but that not having that explosion is another thing. The one thing I did like about Dre is that he did bench press. He had 19 reps on the bench, which is huge, which is big for me because I need you to be big. And if you're gonna be big, I need you to also be able to be physical to be able to play in that mold. I look at Dre kind of like as a unrefined Chase Claypool. We didn't see him, but I think he has the opportunity to grow and be that kind of guy in the league down the road. We've had the guys I'm gonna give a guy who a lot of people may have forgotten about, but I think he showed very well, and I think he's gonna be sneaky.
Okay. Wide
receiver Bryce Ford Wheaton from West Virginia.
Okay, talk about it.
6'4", 221. An absolute going into the season. He had a lot going on. His production was down because I don't think he had super duper adequate quarterback play at West Virginia, but he did play in the Big 12. Dude, he ran a 4.38, man. He ran a 4.38 with a 1.54 10-yard shuffle split. Only thing he didn't do was bench press. And just on some knowledge of me doing some of the outside stuff that I got to do, the weight room at West Virginia and those guys, they are physical monsters. I think Bryce Ford Wheaton, sneaky, slowly productive, is a guy you find and get him, and you look 1-2 years down the road, you're like, dang, gum. You've been playing in West Virginia. Bryce Ford Wheaton can be a problem. You line him up, he's gonna be able to be physical on the outside. I mean, 6'4", 221. That's come on, man. That's DK Metcalf. That's AJ Brown size, man. On the outside with a 4.3. That's a big man. And I really thought he had a really good weekend.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you stayed with receivers. Here's the thing, and this is another guy that I like. I'm glad that I'm glad that a few of my pet cats went ahead and balled out a little bit, right? Marvin Mims is another guy that went and showed out. The knock that we had on Marvin Mims, and it's like guys, heard what I said and they had the Jordan meme. They took that personally, right? the knock that we had on Marvin Mims is that he would double catch balls sometime, right? It was like his spectacular catch rating was a little low, so he would, he went out there and his gauntlet was smooth. He showcased that he would catch balls in stride, never slowing down with his entire hands, never, double clutching things a little bit. And he did it all with a 4.38 speed. Marvin Williams was kind of expected to be like a, high 4.4s, maybe even a 4.5 guy, right?
Right.
Some of our favorite prospects didn't even run in the 4.3s. A guy who is, like 5'8" didn't even run in the 4.3s.
You just gonna go there, ain't you? You gonna go there.
Look, I'm just gonna tell you, Chris. A guy, a guy who was advertised, and we're gonna talk about him in the loser section. A guy who had the most yards and touchdowns in college football this year didn't even run in the 4.3s, Chris. So I think that Marvin Mims did himself a huge favor by running well and catching well.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did a guy.
When he showed excellent footwork while doing it.
Right.
Kudos to you.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. So we've hit him.
So that's Sam. We have not covered tight ends yet. We've covered O-line and receivers.
Yeah. So if we gonna go ahead and bang on, let's go. Well, let's go and bang. Well, let's bang on some of the guys who. Well, okay, so you thought
And I got one more receiver that's a winner. If you want
give it to me. Give it to me.
This is probably the receiver who actually I think did the best out of all of their positions. Charlie Jones out of Purdue, and this is not even the receiver who that we think about when we think of Purdue receivers. We think of A.T. Perry, really.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do.
And here's the thing: I hadn't even watched Charlie Jones.
But no, you think A.T. Perry because of the colors, because A.T. Perry is from Wake Forest.
Boom.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Do you see? Exactly.
Right. You think he's from Wake Forest. Right.
Here's the thing.
Right.
Charlie Jones wasn't even on my radar before the combine, Chris.
Okay.
Charlie Jones wasn't even on my radar before the combine. He stole the show. He stole the show. He ran well, he jumped decent, and he caught spectacularly.
Yeah.
So after the combine, I DM'd a good friend of mine, Foots the King. Shout out to you, Foots. And he just sent me Charlie Jones with the eyes, and I just said he balled out, bro. So
yeah.
he suggested to me a couple games to watch. He told me Michigan and Penn State.
Okay.
So I went and watched that. This young man looks pro ready today.
Not yesterday.
Looks pro, today and yesterday, and the day before that.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yes.
But so what scares you about young Charles?
So he hit the transfer portal. But here's the thing. Maybe it was because the Iowa offense just didn't suit him. Maybe he just bet on himself. He only has one good year of production. I think before that he might have had like 300 yards. You know?
Mm-hmm.
He only has one good year of production. So that's what's gonna have teams apprehensive on him.
Okay.
But that's just what you have to think about.
Okay. I mean, the way they scheme guys open and get people in a certain position, his 5'11" size does not bother me because we got a couple guys who we love who wasn't that big, and wasn't as explosive.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Charlie's size. He's 5'11", 175.
Yep.
Some of the things that they love about him, his run routes with he's a good route runner. He's got the full right. The one thing you're worried about is adjusted stride level, dealing with press coverage and things of that nature, and that's something you can work with.
That's because he don't have much meat on his bones. I'm not necessarily worried about the height. 5'11" you can deal with. He don't got much here. He don't got much here.
Right. I mean, I give him that. I like how he's coming along. I can see him, and you go get him in. Maybe I don't know if he's gonna last that long because when you run a 4.43,
yeah,
and you got some tools to work with his split, and he's willing to get in the weight room. I think he's gonna be okay. His production is there. All right, man. We didn't hit it, and we can go back and forth. People are gonna go back to some of the guys we like. Some of the guys we like didn't pass this test too well.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and deal with one of the guys, man. Let's go and deal with him. Let's go and deal with one of the guys who you very, very high on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go and bring him in the room. I'm gonna bring him in front of the congregation.
Okay, shine the light in his face.
Tank Dell.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Chris. Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I was not necessarily high on Tank Dell. I was high on Josh Downs, the other short receiver. Short receiver.
Okay. I get you that.
Tank Dell, his issue was I was upset that people were false flagging about his height.
Oh, it was capping. They was capping about his height. They was capping. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. They had him at 5'10". They had him big.
And I knew that was a lie. Was a lie. He had his hair in a bun. Absolutely.
So they were giving props. Gotcha.
Yeah.
He had him locked sitting up. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So you didn't like that fact he did that.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. And I'm glad that we build in a little bit of anticipation before we get to some of the guys who blew things out of the water. Tank Dell was supposed to be speed out of the stratosphere guy, right?
Yeah. He was supposed to be that guy to run away with it because you wanted him to be that because of his size. Because of his size, he needed to come in and be that guy who could run away from everybody. Yeah. That's what you wanted.
But here's the thing: because of his size, his legs look like they're running on a hamster wheel. Even at that 4.49, which was not spectacular for him, right? You expected him to be what Marvin Mims was. You expected him to be what Marvin Mims was, and even at 4.49, he looked like Dash from The Incredibles.
Yeah, you wanted him at Trey Price. You wanted him at the level of, you wanted him at Trey Palmer or Darius Davis speed. Yeah. That's what you were looking for.
Yeah. So that was very unimpressive, and it was a silver bullet. It was a silver bullet for him because with him not putting up the number is going to be very important. While we know what the game speed looks like, the number for someone of his size, his weight, is going to be it's not going to be a good look. Because here's one thing. His gauntlet, chef's kiss.
Absolutely.
Because he caught one pass up here and then immediately caught another pass at his knee, which in the grand scheme of things, may have only been 6 inches away. But still, Chris, it was chef's kiss.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Andre Voorhees was a loser for only injury concerns.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you want to deal with some of the losers? You want to deal with some of the losers now?
I mean, we talked about one, right? We talked about one already. Might as well.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. No, you killed it. Yeah, you're right. Voorhees lost only because of his him getting hurt. But what he did do in a lot of instances was show, hey, my toughness, my willingness to compete, and that is what those are some of the intangibles, that you want to look on draft day and look at. That was the one thing he did do it as well. For me, another loser for me was from the safety position. Well, Andre Carter the second from the Army. Mm-hmm. He was a big loser for me. Because they wanted to see. He had a 30-inch vertical leap. His broad jump wasn't super, super explosive. He kind of, I think he was kind of be coming in as the Army guy, and you just want him to be super duper explosive in certain areas. And his 40, and like I said, his vertical was, his broad jump was. So I think he hurt himself by doing that. I think the biggest issue with like we said with the combine, is that you got to be in a place where you feel comfortable doing certain things, and I don't think he felt comfortable on that stage. I want to say a guy, and Stevie Mack had said something too. Another loser we really didn't talk about, but I think his film is so excellent. Is right there is Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison didn't have an amazing day, but Jordan Addison's film is just insane. Jordan Addison is a Biletnikoff winner. I think sometimes winning certain kind of awards kind of early in your career leaves room for people to dissect your game. But he didn't have a great day. He wasn't super duper fast, but his production is what you look at with Jordan Addison and say, yo, I can run with that. He ran a 4.49, so he wasn't super duper duper fast.
Mm-hmm.
But his 10-yard split is amazing. And Jordan Addison knows how to get open. I love his game. I've liked his game for a long time. I'm a wide receiver dude because I feed one every day, and that's my thing. So I thought Jordan Addison kind of lost. I think Jordan Addison didn't lose because he wasn't what we thought he could be. I think Jordan Addison lost because he had to come back to college. And anybody can catch it. He lost because he had to come back to college and play. And he gave people more time to dissect who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Give me the loser.
So
give it.
I'm gonna cover this loser and then I want to go back to the winners, right?
Okay.
Kayshon Boutte. He lost
if you could put a guy who lost out, I mean, he's on a straight losing streak in so many different levels.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give it to me.
Well, not much, but definitely smaller than advertised, right?
Right.
Measured at 6 foot.
Yep.
You know, he was supposed
5'11". 5'11", sir.
Excuse
5'11".
me, 5'11". He was supposed to be a 6'1" guy. He was supposed to be a 6'1" guy, right? Also much slower than advertised. He was a 4.51, I believe.
4.5, and his vertical leap was left so much more to be desired.
Absolutely.
Much to be desired.
Of course, when he wants to, his film, you know, makes up for that. But he has to want to, right?
Yeah.
So you couple all of those things together, and how do teams perceive that, Chris? How do teams perceive that?
I mean, this is what you're looking at, because everybody who's kicking with us at 10:37 tonight, they love football. They don't just like it; they love it. So your question with Kayshon is, do I love football, or do I love what football gives me? Right. So is he Dez Bryant, right, or is he Rico Gathers?
He's the offensive version of David Irving, but you know.
Oh my God. Okay, gosh, man. Listen, bro. Why would you choosing violence late at night? You know what I'm saying? You got to load the clip on there, man. Call that man David Irving. Good gracious, man. Okay. But you haven't been a big fan of Kayshon. You haven't been a big fan of Kayshon out the gate. You can care less. Right?
No, I'm not the hugest fan of him because, just like you said, I believe that he is more interested in what football can do for him.
Yes.
And
yes.
Then what? Love
the game. Love the game.
Absolutely.
Okay. Who else you got, buddy?
This is one of the two guys that I think three, if you include Nolan Smith, that just blew the combine out of the water. Right. Let's talk about Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington had
no. Hold on, bro. Yeah. As a content creator, there's only one way to say that man's name, because we got to give love to the ultimate OG. Law Nation, right? So it's got to be Darnell Washington. That's who that is. Yeah. It's not now. That's who that is. And listen, man. I'm gonna let you talk about him. But I'm gonna give you my spin on him. Go ahead, give me how you feel about Darnell.
So he's a freak of nature, man. He is a freak of nature. He's fast. He did you see the clip of him moving that sled? Like it weighed like 24 pounds.
Yeah.
But then every other tight end struggled to move it.
Yeah. Okay.
So he moves the sled like he's an offensive lineman. But then he also catches the ball with one hand like he's Odell Beckham in year 3.
Okay.
But then he also moves like he's Larry Fitzgerald in year 4.
Hey, man. I'm going to let you keep going. Go ahead.
He is an absolute freak of nature. You can't teach genetics, Chris.
Okay.
He's a guy that happened to win the genetic lottery.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm gonna finish.
So just like I said, he's going to be an absolute asset for any team, no matter where he's picked. And
I'm gonna let you go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
I hate contradicting myself, right? Because we talked about this on this show. How I think that you could just kind of like roll the dice on tight end.
Yeah.
At any round. Yeah. And because this is a draft show, right?
Right.
And in the draft, in 94% of situations, I feel like you can just pick a tight end in day 3 and see success.
Okay.
But
Okay.
dang, Chris, this dude is impressive. He is a specimen.
Okay.
What you got for me, Chris?
Listen, man, I'm gonna just give you a couple names of tight end, man. I'm gonna let you go how we fell in love with these guys at tight end, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna just give you a couple names, okay? Let me just run down the list, and I'm gonna let those who are kicking with us see if they remember fall in love with these names.
Okay.
Evan Ingram.
Okay.
Noah Fant.
Okay.
OJ Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, I'm gonna give you one. Well, he turned out to be a good player. I'm gonna give you one. That James Hanna. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So all these guys they weren't the mammoth man size that Darnell Washington is. Darnell Washington is 6'7". He's 6'7".
Yep.
So he put you kind of in the mindset of maybe a Dallas Goedert, because Goddard is a big guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a luxury pick for certain people. Remember we were all in love with Kyle Pitts, 6'4", matchup nightmare, things of that nature. So for me, yeah, if I'm looking to add him to a team that needs, if I'm the Chicago Bears and I can get a Darnell Washington and match him with a Justin Schuyler Fields, and anybody who knows me, when I love you, I say your whole government name. So if I can match it with him, that's fine.
Well, not necessarily a pick one. Of course, we're talking about in the trade back scenario.
Yeah. Right. No. But no, like maybe a second. No. I don't think he's a first round. I don't. Here's my problem. Now, for me, and my thing is, you're looking at first round tight ends.
Yeah.
You just had 2 a couple years ago. Noah Fant and his teammate, T.J. Hawkinson.
Mm-hmm.
T.J. Hawkinson and Noah Fant have been traded from their original teams.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm talking about getting this guy in the first round, I'm expecting him to come through and be just an explosive guy like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not. I like him. I like his skill set. I like what he did. He was a big winner at the combine. But at the end of the day, what am I looking at for? Am I going to be able to turn around and get that kind of production from a guy his first, second, third year? And if I'm going to get him in the first round, I'm going to need him to be that kind of guy.
Okay, so I'm going to play a game with you, Chris.
Play a game.
All of these tight ends except for James Hanna, because it's been quite a while for him.
I mean, listen. I thought for me, honestly, because Hanna was so fast, and I thought. Of course. I just think the Cowboys misused him, but I think they misused a lot of tight ends during, the Jason Witten era.
Of course, progress.
Yeah. Shots.
Evan Ingram or Darnell Washington.
Right now, for me, I'm gonna take Darnell Washington
as a prospect.
Oh, as a prospect?
Sure.
Evan Ingram.
Okay.
Ingram was a first round pick.
Okay. Noah Fant, or say it with me, Darnell Washington.
First round pick. Noah Fant was okay. Noah Fant was a first round pick. Okay. Noah Fant was amazing.
Okay. OJ Howard or Darnell
Washington.
Okay.
But see, that's what I'm saying. We thought that's how we're looking at Darnell Washington like we looked at OJ Howard. Because we didn't see OJ Howard. We had to go find and seek and hunt and go get the Magruder film to find any catches from OJ Howard when he was at Alabama. This is almost like the same thing with Darnell Washington. So that's what I'm saying. I think as a specimen, as a player, as a physical a guy, I still believe they're the same guy. He's a luxury. So it really depends on where you draft him at. And if you draft him in the first round just on his combine stuff, you may be disappointed because you want to expect him to come and be a matchup nightmare. Because see what I'm saying? The two best tight ends in football, family, It's Kittles, right?
Yep.
And Kelsey,
Yep.
right?
Oh,
Both
now,
of them
now
got-
keep in mind, you know my draft philosophy when it comes to tight ends. You know
Explain
my
it to
draft
us.
philosophy.
Explain it to us again, brother.
Tight ends, you can take anywhere in day 3. Just roll the dice. Roll the dice. And if you hit, you hit. If not, try again next year.
Okay, I got it. So, but with all, and okay, but you said day 3, right?
Yeah.
Because you wanted Jelani Woods with everything you had on day 2. You wanted Jelani, right?
Hey, look,
and Jelani was what? He was a combine numbers phenomenon. So we were thinking third round. So do we think? So go back to what you said: Jelani Woods or Darnell Washington?
I'll go ahead and say Darnell Washington.
Okay, so we kind of see this every year. So I don't want us to get caught up in the hype of it and miss the point that Darnell's he's a great physical specimen.
Yes.
But as to him being that guy as a tight end and picking him in the first round, I don't see us doing nothing like that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, once again, I try not to be Cowboy specific with most of the draft content, but
Right.
I don't necessarily let the words in the building may not agree with me. Some guys who are always right, may be hinting that tight end may be a higher pick than normal this year. But
gotcha.
That's neither here nor there. This isn't a Cowboy show today.
Gotcha.
But as far as another winner, I want this guy to be last. Jack Campbell.
Linebacker.
Jack Campbell. At 249 pounds, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1.59 10-yard split is amazing, Chris. It's amazing.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of surprised that people are surprised that he kind of showed out and that he's a good off-ball linebacker, right?
Yeah. I like Jack. I like Jack's size. If I was a football team that had a former first round pick that you wasn't gonna bring back and he could kind of play in the middle and probably keep my linebacker who's a weapon moving around, Jack Campbell fits the bill. 6'4", 249, 4.65, kind of rangy. That 10-yard split I like, 1.59. I love his splits.
He's not gonna be taking on your fullback or anything like that. He's not that guy.
But he has it. But his 20-yard shuffle is decent, man. At that 4.24, that means I know he can go run with some guys.
Absolutely,
that's what I need him to do. I need him to be able to run with some guys. And he can probably carry. He can carry a running back. He's not running strong, but he's not going to be totally out of position if he's trying to carry a running back if he comes out the backfield.
Absolutely. These are and I got an issue. I got a lot of guys that I really like this year, right? Because we have the luxury of having the vault this year, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Julius Brents, cornerback. Julius was a guy who had on film anyway a lot of nose for the ball. Is probably the best way to put it. Then he came out and by nose for the ball, he had a lot of interceptions. 4 interceptions with 4 pass breakups, right?
Okay.
But then he came to the combine, tested well, with a decent 40 for his size. He's 6'3" and managed to run a 4.53. You would expect the bigger guy to be maybe a little slower.
Right.
So with someone for his size to be able to cover ground quickly, with also having a nose for the ball, the ability to break up passes, definitely something that I think is a good asset to have on the defense.
I know that's and I know when we watch film, because we're Cowboy, content creators. We look at that. Julius Brent, may be a upgrade over the Nashawn Wright deal that we did a couple years back. Being that he's long, he's rangy, and that's what we like about him. So I know that's good. His speed is decent at the 4.53.
Yeah.
His hips weren't super stiff like one guy we saw, Ringo, Dylan, at the combine. But he fits the bill if you want to put him out there. He is extremely long, and the question you got to ask, if he can't make it as a boundary safety, does he have the nose and the heart to be a rangy? Can we move him to safety? Can he be that, kind of in the box rangy safety that you can turn him into if he can't play boundary corner?
Absolutely. And speaking of guys that you can move all over the place, right? Quan Martin, or his full name, Jartavius Martin.
Okay.
The thing that I like about Jartavius Martin, you can move him at any DB position on that defense, whether it's outside corner, nickel corner, which is a part of a base defense nowadays anyway, or safety, free safety in particular. And he has been able to succeed at the college level. He also has an amazing eye for the ball. Had multiple forced fumbles, multiple interceptions, multiple pass breakups, because he's not afraid to move all around the defense.
There's from Illinois, right?
Yes, from Illinois. Then he messed around and had a 44-inch vertical. Jumped all the way out the building. Saw the city.
Right. Yeah. But see, they got him listed as a safety. So what is the issue
can be
with
listed
him?
as a safety, but he plays everywhere. He could be listed as a safety all day long.
Okay. So he can be that guy you get, and like you said, he could be he's 5'11", so he's at a decent size. So yeah, you could play him. You could play him in corner.
Yeah,
you could play him in corner. But I think probably with him, the guy that played in front of him at corner at a school probably overshadowed that. I think they probably said, hey, we got to get him on the field at a certain spot. Yeah. So let's put him in a place where he can make plays.
And he ran in the 4.4s. And like I said, he produced 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 11 pass breakups. So he was always around the ball. Gotcha. And here's the thing, Chris. Here's the thing. No, we gonna stop this music. We gonna stop this music. We gonna stop
no music at all. Yeah, no music at all, huh? Music. Okay.
You remember Ardarius Washington, Chris? You remember Ardarius Washington, Chris?
Hey, listen, if anybody hold on, let me set this up. So, like you said, every year when you start doing the draft, you get guys that you love, that you root for. I told you who my guy was a couple years back is Rashawn Slater.
Yep.
Brandon, expound about how you feel about Ardarius Washington and why to this day.
Ardarius Washington was safety 1 2 years ago.
Safety who?
Safety 1. As far as production was concerned.
On whose board was he safety 1?
As far as production was concerned, Chris, you can't deny it. You could not deny production. But he was 5'8".
5'8".
Yeah.
Okay. Now, understand. If anybody wants to go back and look at Ardarius Washington, was the free safety that played at TCU.
Yeah.
His counterpart, who's his counterpart that played at TCU?
Trevon
Morey, who went as a first-round safety, right? First round safety.
Inferior as far as production, but he was 6 feet tall.
Come on, bro. Keep going.
Here's the thing. Quan Martin has the size. He also has the production.
Okay.
Now you're not going to be able to deny it, Chris. You're not going to be able to deny it now. I will not be denied this year.
Okay.
Quan Martin is going to be a second-round pick this year.
Okay.
He even though, just like you said, his counterpart that played in front of him, Mr. Witherspoon,
Yes.
he's gonna be the guy, right?
Oh yeah.
Quan was looked at as probably, maybe an early in the beginning of the draft process, early day 3, maybe even a late day 2 guy, right? After the combine, him running in the 4.4s, that got people looking. Then they look at, oh man, this guy played back here, this guy played over here, this guy played right here, this guy's moving all around and still producing.
Right.
He has gotten himself into the second round conversation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you want him in the second round?
He would. Okay. I am only going to give you 2 sentences of Cowboys talk right now.
Okay.
If Quan Martin is available at 58, because the Cowboys have a very specific archetype that they look at in DBs, and I sent you the list. It's 11 guys.
Yep, you did.
If Quan Martin is available at 58 and there are only 7 or less of those guys left, he will be the pick at 58.
Okay. He's your Donovan Wilson replacement?
Yeah. Or he'll be your outside corner. He'll be your Donovan Wilson or Anthony Brown replacement.
Well, I already think you got your Anthony Brown replacement on the roster in DaRon Bland.
Possibly.
Right. But if you can turn,
Bland may be your nickel guy. Who knows?
Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. But we'll say that for another time, because that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother slot for us to be able to get down and do it. So, But that's it. Listen, is that all you got, or you got something else, my dude?
I think that's all I got. That was my last one. Well, I'm gonna talk about him quickly. I'm gonna get a few sentences about my last guy. Anthony Richardson managed to make everyone forget about his film with pure athleticism.
Yes.
Don't forget about the film, people.
Yeah.
Just because a guy is big, strong, fast does not mean that the film is irrelevant.
That's true.
Workouts come third. Film comes first and second.
That's right. And that's going to lead us into where we're going to go at, because we're going to be able to kick it with y'all tomorrow. We're going to double up this week. I know y'all going to be like, yeah, sure you are. But we are. We're going to double up this week. We're going to be able to be back tomorrow. We're going to try to get a little bit earlier. We're going to kind of talk about some of these guys who showed, who blew it up, but you got to go back and look at their film. Do not be deceived. And Brandon said it best. Film is first and second on the list, because what you did on the film, and the eye in the sky won't lie. So let's not get taken away, because there's 2 guys that, everybody was buzzing about. And we'll talk about them tomorrow, that, they film didn't show so well. But as always, man, make sure you follow us, man. You've been with us for 58 minutes on a Wednesday night, man, after Bible study, or during around and walking your dog, or doing something, so you can't be kicked it. So we definitely appreciate everybody who's rocking with us, man. Hey, we also ask, man, that you make sure you hit the like button, man, and make sure that you follow us on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter, Set It Off Fritz, @_playmaker88_, or you can find my man BH at the spot, Frankly Football, man, and make sure you follow us. Make sure you share us, man. Put us out there in the algorithm. We definitely appreciate that, man. And we also like you can continue to subscribe, man. That's our biggest thing. We just 2 guys, man, who love ball, man. Got super duper busy lives just like y'all, but we definitely appreciate you rocking and kicking with us. As always, man, I am the dude in the side cart, just riding in the Batmobile on the side. I don't even get to drive. You know what I'm saying? I'm your man, Set It Off Chris. And that's my main dude, BH, man. And together we will always make up Frankly Football. And until next time, fellas and people.
Peace.